country is a dark and divided place. But in that tent, there's hope, unity, and miracles that I can't even explain.
I felt like each of your characters had a character arc in it. And so can you guys kind of go down the line and talk about it?
Kathy starts in this, hippie movement, trying to figure out who she is. And then her sister has a near-death experience involving drugs where she's present. And I think it causes her to question everything. Why am I doing this? What's the purpose of all of this? And it encourages her to find her faith. And then she brings Greg into it, and they find faith together, and they find each other. Such a beautiful love story, and I was really honored to play Kathy.
Jonathan?
Lonnie Frisbee is this charismatic hippie street preacher that connects with this pastor, Chuck Smith, whose church needs a lot of help. It's kind of dying, and Lonnie goes out and brings a bunch of hippies into the church. And as a result, this movement starts to grow, and as the church grows, but throughout the process of this, throughout time, Lonnie's wounds that stemmed from his childhood start to surface in different ways in the film, and you see the flaws of his humanity start to deconstruct the thing that he was a part of building. And so that was that's kind of his arc in this film.
And as for Greg, he's a lost soul, looking for meaning, looking to be valued. He's looking for community and family, and he looks at drugs. He looks at kind of this lost, he has this arc where he goes, he kind of arcs down, and then he kind of finds the church, and he finds family in Kathy, and he's saved, and his life finds new meaning in that identity that he's looking for. He finds in church, like so many people do.
And what do you feel like? What would you hope his testimony reaches people?
I mean, I know that it has. His Greg's harvest festivals have reached millions of people, and it's a testament to the grace of God in his life that he has been so blessed and given such a platform to spread the word in such a powerful worldwide manner, and I think he's done so faithfully. Boldly, and I'm honored to even be, in conversation just with his name. It's an honor to be here.
And this movie's cool because it does have the different, quirky people in it, right? Where Greg's a younger guy and Jonathan's this kind of quirky hippie, and then Kelsey Grammer plays this character that's, been in the church as a pastor for a long time. So talk about how you guys hope that, all ages will be reached by this movie.
I was at a screening at a university in Virginia recently, and there were thousands of university students, but there were also hundreds of people from all different generations, and it was amazing, the response. Every generation had something to come away with from the film. There were a lot of people who identified, in Kelsey's generation, in my own generation, and then in Greg's generation, teenage Greg's generation as well. So everybody found something that they could connect to, which I think makes this the appeal of this film universal, and the themes are universal as well. So I think anybody, regardless of your faith or even a lack of faith, will find something uplifting and encouraging by the film, and they'll be able to walk away from the film with at least something to think about and saying, what would happen if I actually tried to give a place to God in my life if I didn't have one, for instance.
This movie shows that you could have any platform. You could talk about your faith anywhere. Yeah. And I know you have a great platform with social media. Is it kind of invigorating to kind of do a project like this?
Absolutely. This film is so important to me personally, my faith, shared with Greg. We have the same kind of background with, what we believe, and it's so core to who we are. And so in terms of like platform, it's an honor to spread the gospel. I love to spread this story of love and of grace and forgiveness that I have been shown, by God. Thank God. And Greg uses his platform in such a powerful way, and it's an honor to be spreading the same good news.
But the production of it was so great. You could bring anybody to the movie, and the love story was really sweet. Can you talk more about like the love? Because I thought that was a really sweet aspect to it.
Oh, I just loved the love story, and it's true. And they're still together for 50 years. They're people that have chosen each other, and I think that can be a really good example for young people of like, this is what respect and choosing somebody and putting the right things at the center of your relationship can look like.
Yeah, I love that. What about for you about kind of the different aspects that you'd hope people to get out of it?
I would love for people to, walk away intrigued and curious. And as much as, the movie can affect, like, it'll affect everyone in its own way. Like someone can walk up and be like, it was a really great feel good movie. It was a beautiful relationship and like wonderful story. And some people are going to walk away saying like Jonathan said, like, oh, like what if I did, open some sort of idea of a relationship with God? Like what would that look like in my life? And then there'll be people out there who are haters and not going to like the movie. You can't please everyone. Get these hippies out of here.
No, everyone's going to love it.
Yeah. So I'm so thrilled for the movie to come out, and the reception of it has been
it's been amazing.
Wonderful.
Right? Yeah,
wonderful. I'm so thrilled.
So I told you last night, but I loved the movie.
Yeah,
I thought it was so amazing, and the quality was just top notch. You know, the music was good.
Yeah.
So how is it, pairing with the Erwin brothers? And
listen, these guys are geniuses, and I really mean that when I say it. And also, I believe that they are the most important filmmakers of faith of our generation. I mean, seriously, this film is brilliant. The writing, the directing, the production design, the wardrobe, the sets, the music. I mean, I'm just honored that they would, in their vision, see that I would play a part in it. So I'm just grateful to work with them and for them.
And like, there's so many elements to it that even like people who maybe aren't Christian, like could resonate with and love too. The love story was so beautiful.
Yeah.
So can you talk about how you hope both kind of sides of the audience enjoy it?
Well, what I love about the film is that it's great entertainment.
Yeah.
And great entertainment comes down to great characters, great conflict, and satisfactory resolution. And this film has all of those things. So I think that anyone coming to see the movie is going to enjoy the movie. This is not just a film for people who identify as people of faith. This is a film for everyone. And having seen this film screened across the country, I can tell you that, people of all walks of life see this film and are deeply moved by it.
And what a great message to talk about love, especially like now where everything's curated for us to go one way or another, and there's division here, and so this says like we got to love everybody.
Yes.
And so can you kind of talk about that kind of message of love and hope? And
I mean, I think that this movie shows what we're in need of. I think in our culture, especially in our Christian culture, the culture is still too judgmental.
Yeah.
It's still too, wait a minute, not you. No, not you, but you. That's not our job.
Yeah.
Let God deal with people. Let Christ do the convicting.
Yeah.
Let us do more accepting. And I think the movie challenges anyone in the Christian community to be more loving and to be more accepting. Because when you see the power of the revolution, it is directly correlated to love and acceptance. And we need that love and acceptance right now.
And that'll bring people in, right, to the faith and understand that we, love people no matter what, right?
Absolutely. But so often, in the Christian community, we lead with judgment.
Yeah.
And well, God says this and God says that. that the Bible speaks for itself. Let people come to Christ.
Yeah.
Let people come to Christ and even know who Christ is, and then let Christ do the convicting.
Yeah.
So I do think that this puts the church on notice. The church has got to stop being so judgmental and be more accepting.
Yeah, it did make me feel, I've gone to church all my life or whatever. It did make me be like, oh, we got to take it outside the church. We got to talk to people about the hope that we have because it's such a hard time period. People have hard lives, right?
Yeah.
And so I think to just impart that hope, and you guys inspired people through the movie on that. I thought that was great.
Absolutely. It's critical, I think.
Now, for your character, what did you think he was, looking for at the beginning? And then what do you feel like he kind of found?
Yeah, I think, I tried to bring a sense of curiosity with a touch of skepticism. So I think at the beginning, he's curious, but he's also like, yeah, I think this could be a little crazy, I don't know, but he's like, you know what, let me, wait to cast judgment or make a judgment until I explore what's here. And the beauty of the curiosity and the skepticism is that as he explores and as he does the interviews and as he observes what's going on, he sees for himself, oh, wow, this is nothing to be skeptical over. This is a real movement. This is a real family. This is love that I've witnessed and experienced like never before. And so that's why near the end of the film, he's able to encourage Greg in those ways.
Yeah.
Because he himself has experienced the very things that he's encouraging Greg to continue to pursue.
Yeah, well, I hope it happens again. You guys have toured it all over, right?
Yeah,
and so,
all across the country.
Have you heard some great reactions from it?
The reactions have been amazing.
Wow.
I mean, amazing. I'm like, wow, people love the film. They are, vigilant over it. Churches are buying out theaters.
Oh, wow.
Advanced ticket sales I hear are through the roof. And so it really feels like we're teed up for another revolution, at least at the box office, because so far, the initial screenings have been phenomenal.
Well, even Variety said that this movie could actually lead people into the theaters again.
Oh, it did? I haven't seen the review.
Yeah, and so it's a great thing, right? Because, the theaters have not been doing well over the last 2 years. And so this may be the movie that bring people back.
Variety wrote that.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So that's encouraging.
That's extremely
and it's for a good message, right?
Absolutely.
And so I love that. I thought you guys did an amazing job. Production was great. I thought that, and also my dad said he thought it was great for Christians and non-Christians.
Great.
He can do the Christian, I'll do the non.
Look, I love a true story, and this is the longest I've ever worked on a film. I bought I actually have it here with me. I bought the Time magazine cover story on eBay in 2015. So before I Can Only Imagine, and I was so awestruck by this account of this spiritual awakening that swept America, and I wanted to make a movie, and I felt, man, we're in such a similar time, and so we wanted to make it just an authentic story of the origin of that movement. And we've been working on it for a long time. And as we screened it, it's by far my favorite film to watch with an audience. I love watching this movie with an audience, young and old. I've watched it at colleges with thousands of people. It's so fun to hear them laugh and cry, cheer during the film. But what's interesting is people that really don't have any faith persuasion also love the movie and see it as just a parable of how we should treat each other. And maybe we should love each other again. And maybe that's the answer. And I think it's the fact that, people were caught up, that society said could not hang out together. They were actually caught up in a movement together. And I think that that's just inspiring. I think we all know that we need help in how we treat each other. And so it's interesting to see how, even though it's set in the world of church, and Kelsey plays a pastor, and Jonathan plays a hippie, sort of preacher, it plays much broader than we had ever imagined,
Yeah. For me, I love Jesus, but the teachings of Jesus and everything he did spilled out of the church into the main. And we wouldn't be sitting here having this conversation if his entire ministry was in a synagogue. It was outside the church. So 2 things I think happen. There's a beautiful authenticity. There's a humanity in this, and it's universal. Love one another. We know that's right. What's beautiful is it's in scripture too, so you see it demonstrated. But I think just as a human drama, just the humanity of it, it can resonate with people from all walks of life. We had people from all walks of life work on this movie, and they were touched and moved, came to me in tears. This is so beautiful. This is the most important thing I've ever worked on. And so for me, that's always a bellwether of everything I try to do. I think a great faith film that contends with faith should play for people from all walks of life and play well.
I think you guys are so right that it's so needed for this time, and that this, the last 2 years were very divisive, and social media kind of played a part in that. Yeah. And so what would you hope, young people, I feel for younger people because it's a hard time to live in. And I know it was kind of showing Jesus Revolution during that time, it was hard for younger people too. So what would you hope, the younger audiences get out of it?
Man, the kids today have so much to say, and I love their hearts. They're for justice. They're for social justice. They see all the inequality. Man, let's use that for change. But the cancel culture and the hatred and just the vitriol, it's got to go. It's a dead-end road. We're not built to be that. We're built to love each other, and we're built to actually be okay with someone disagreeing with you. But above all that, faith, hope, and love. Love is at the height of it. Paul put it above faith. That's crazy. That blows my mind. But the most important thing we need to push for as people of faith and just as humanity is love. And I think we can start turning more to loving conversations, even against the other or the perceived enemy. Jesus said, love your enemies. Who does that? So if the kids of this generation can latch on to some of those things, man, I just see a beautiful path forward for us, And I think this movie, for a brief moment in time, it celebrates that, and I think it is going to start a lot of great conversations.
Yeah.
I actually, the whole reason we made it was sort of like, if this happened before, it can happen again. And again, we're working on it for years, so the timing's kind of crazy, but. Last week, Beth and I, we were in Kentucky anyway, so we just were like, hey, let's just go. So it's very early. We drove over to Asbury College to this Hughes Auditorium, and this sort of spontaneous revival and service has been going on now for over a week, and just sat there. And I remember Greg Laurie called me and said, what was it like? And I said, it was just like the scenes in the movie, identical to the scenes in the movie. So that's my hope, is that at a very similar time in history, this happened. Maybe it can happen again. And it happened in such an undeniable way that Time magazine gave it credit and called it the Jesus Revolution with a cover story. So I would hope that something sweeping and undeniable could happen again. That could teach us to love each other again. That would be amazing.
Yeah, what an amazing message. When everything right now is curated for us to go one way or the other way, kind of butt heads with
God
each
help
other.
us.
And so you guys didn't shy away from hard things, right? You show his kind of drug use, but it shows the testimony without even verbally saying the testimony. So talk about kind of that and writing that and the process there.
Go ahead, writer.
That's fine. I wanted to make a movie about, because I deeply resonate with this, about flawed, imperfect people being caught up in a perfect moment together. And a movement that became a movement, and there's not a perfect character in this story. And most of, half of the movie, you're living through the eyes of this teenage kid, Greg Laurie, who is not a Christian, not a part of it, becomes a part of it. And you even see the flaws and cracks of the people that are leading it, And I think that's important, because I think so many of us think, well, God can't use me, or I can't be meaningful because I'm not talented enough. I struggle with this or that. I've done this, that, whatever. I hope this movie challenges that notion that we all have a role to play. Yeah. And sometimes, movements are a team sport, and I love how these very different characters portrayed by Kelsey, who's amazing, Jonathan and Joel, sort of converge. Their stories converge in this moment in time. And I wanted to make an authentic movie that people could relate to, that processed some of the flaws in the characters, because I deeply relate to that. Yeah. And that's what we tried to do.
Yeah, I mean, by design, you have characters that are of college age or high school age, as well as older characters. And so we wanted to really have entry points for all age demographics, and make sure that this was a movie for everyone. And so I think we're getting that. I had some buddies that were at the premiere last night and like, man, I can't believe how this really resonates with a younger crowd, and which is great. That's exactly what we want, because that younger crowd is really active and they're dynamic right now. And so as we're seeing, and so we're excited about the release.
And this generation knows we're all flawed, and they want to talk about it.
Yeah.
And our movie does that. I don't know. I'm very excited. I really hope young people go see this, and it just ignites a spark of spiritual renewal in our country and in the world, for sure.
But I think you're right, though. It does reach older audiences, too, and you've got really quirky characters that everyone can relate to one or another, so that was good.
We try to design experiences that are multi-generational. You think about screens used to be things that pulled us together as a family. You think about, I Love Lucy or Carol Burnett or whatever. These experiences that you gather for. Screens now sort of pull us apart. Yeah. So one of the things I think Movieguide celebrates, and one of the movies that we try to make, are intentionally designed to be multi-generational experiences, because there's nothing like getting around a screen and enjoying an experience together as a family, and that's very rare today. And so we try to architect the movies to create those experiences for families. And I think this is a great movie. I watched it last night with my wife and daughter, and my daughter, who's 14, was like crying, and she's like, "This movie's so emotional," and we loved it too. And that's what those are the experiences that we try to make.
It's a family, man.